And we're back. We got another one. Hey, but before we get going, let's take care of some housekeeping notes. Today's episode is sponsored by Epic Mortgage. Whether you're buying, refinancing, or investing, call Epic today, 708-905-5300, 708-905-5300. It's your dreams, your goals. Let's plan together. Also, too, if you are feeling lost in the mortgage maze, many dream of owning a home, but navigating the mortgage world can feel overwhelming, or maybe you're looking to lower your monthly payment, but don't know where to start. My book is out on Amazon, The Ultimate Mortgage Guide. It'll walk you through step by step through the process, and grab a copy today. It was really cool about that was I have a client that I'm working with right now. She did buy the book and she said, man, this is a great read. Thanks so much. I'm learning so much. So I really appreciate that. So shout out to the Wright family. All right. And want to make sure we mention our preferred listings. We are preferred lenders on a couple properties out there in the world. So I definitely recommend you taking a look at these. We can help you get your offer accepted. Please take a look at 2436 Planters Mill Way in Conyers, Georgia. That's going for $399,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Contact Angela Pinnell at 404-425-4660. We also have 1100 South 3rd Avenue in Maywood, Illinois. It's going for $405,000. It's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath house. Contact Tamika Bishop, 630-479-6352. We also have 5544 South California in Chicago, Illinois. It's going for $394,900. It's a 5-bed, 3-bath house. Contact Victor Naranjo at 708-830-4734. And we just got a new live listing today, 8228 South LaSalle Avenue, Illinois. 8228 South LaSalle, Chicago, Illinois. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house. Contact Amico Pope, 808-428-3770. So those are some preferred listings that we have out there. And then once we get done with the show, make sure you check out the latest Epic Spotlight interview. We had the pleasure to interview award-winning photographer and filmmaker Nicole Barton. She joined us to share how she's redefining beauty, empowering women over 40, and turning portraits into powerful tools for healing and transformation. So you can download the podcast wherever you download podcasts, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Epic Spotlight, and check it out. All right, now on to the show. Today we have Stacy and Vince. Stacy Brian from Forward Lending. Good morning.
Hi. Hello. Good afternoon, how are you doing?
Good. You know, normally we call this Epic Lunch and Learn because in the Midwest it's lunchtime, but you have a beauty behind you, that beautiful scenery. Where are you today?
I'm out in the field today. I'm in San Fernando Valley, just making some broker stops, and was excited to take a little break and sign on with you guys today.
No, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate both of you joining us, but yeah, appreciate you having the time to come out.
I want to do this lunch and learn from where she's at. I'm out.
That's a deal. Yes. California is beautiful and it looks sunny. What's the weather like?
Right now, I think it's about 75. It's supposed to get up to about 95 today.
Got it. Yeah. We are 82, mostly sunny here. So we're right there with you. Probably humid though. Very, very humid out here. But today we wanted to talk about mortgage products. Today was like a mortgage product day. And we brought one of our lenders that we work with. We love working with Stacy and her team. Definitely has helped us close deals. And, it's kind of like a Walmart, Stacy. I mean, when we work with you, there's so many things that you can do. And so we wanted to kind of, go a little bit deeper into what you offer and what we can do. So let's start off with like conventional products right now. Okay. In the conventional world, what are you seeing and what are you offering right now?
Okay, so we do all the standard Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac products. What I'm kind of seeing right now is we are doing a lot of the Cal HAFA down payment assistant type stuff. I'm noticing a little more income limits where borrowers are trying to qualify, but their income is a little too high. So I've noticed that a lot lately stuff's been switching over to the first-time home buyer products or pivoting to FHA, our Fast 100 product, because there aren't the DTI limits or the income limits on that stuff. I have seen the market kind of pivot a lot more towards FHA than conventional with the down payment assistance programs. Our one of the new products that Fannie Mae rolled out is this alt investment conventional product, and it's a great product with a lot of, there's not a lot of LLPAs on it, and it's a little more liberal in the sense of income and using departing residents' income and different stuff like that. They're more gearing towards kind of like the non-QM world on that alt investment property.
It's funny that, on the conventional side of things, I felt like they just let go of the handle when it went to investment world. They just said, hey, you know what? We don't even want to be bothered with it. Mm-hmm. And we saw this huge spike probably from 2021 to present of just non-QM products, mm-hmm. and so now to hear you say that, now they're seeing all this money go away. Here they are, trying to reinvent themselves in that space.
Yeah, they're trying to reinvent it, but I think if you go head to head on, call it a 25% down on an investment property compared to a non-QM still pricing conventional out.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they did take the stance, Fannie and Freddie took the stance that says, okay, you're going to do an investment property, 0 gift is allowed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what the loan to value is.
Mm.
They completely pulled away gift funds on investment.
So they want the product, but they don't want to close any deals with it, I guess.
Yeah.
It keeps their name in there. It keeps their name in there.
I like to throw 2 points on that. I think Fannie and Freddie kind of jumped on the restrictions to investments in second homes because of the low interest rates that we had, and everyone making that move to, I'm going to go buy this house. And it was, wait a minute, we're going to have way too many people owning multiple properties. So not to say anything that Fannie and Freddie got out of it. It was just like, well, wait a minute, we're giving people the same amount of interest on an investment, but we're taking more risk here. And I think that was one of those. And then Stacy, if you can, this alt conventional, how does it compare from a rate wise to like a DSCR loan? And I'm not trying to go specific, but just give a range. Like we'll say the average 30-year fixed on an owner occupied property is, for the sake of conversation, let's call it 7%. What would that rate kind of mirror on your alt? Just to kind of give the audience an idea of what the spread is.
7.875.
Okay, so relatively close to 3/4 to a 7/8 of a point. And that's basically allowing to like use bank statements as opposed to W-2s and pay stubs, correct?
Oh, no. I thought you were asking me. So for non-QM on investment properties, if you're 20% down, if it's DSCR or bank statement, any type of business purpose, we're pricing at about 6.875 right now. So most of our non-QM products, investment products, are priced better than a Fannie Freddie investment.
I got you. I appreciate that. I guess what I was trying to look for, and what I was hearing from what you were saying was like, hey, we have conventional over here, but we have this alt doc conventional. And I was trying to see, is that like a middle pricing point between what would be the DSCR versus the traditional conventional? That's what I was trying to get at.
Nah, it's still DSCR, still priced better. Okay. What they did is they took away the LLPAs on the alt investment, but then they made the coupon a little bit higher.
But you don't offer anything like that on an owner occupied with like substituting bank statements, but still coming close to Fannie and Freddie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And obviously, for some of people that are joining us, we're live today on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We are here for you to answer your questions and your scenarios. So if you have anything, it doesn't matter if you're working with a different loan officer, or it doesn't matter if you're working with a different realtor per se. We can help you answer some questions for you. With over 20 plus years of experience with all of us that are on this chat. So appreciate some of the questions that are coming in. So please use the comments for the questions. Question number 1 came in. It says, how do you decide between FHA and conventional? Stacy, I've always used the kind of the credit score situation on that. I've normally said if you're 700 or higher, generally speaking, you're going to have lower PMI. That might be a frame of reference to use conventional. Assuming that you have enough money to close and all that good stuff. Are you seeing the reason why are people deciding between FHA and conventional?
I really think ultimately it's the final payment. It's your final payment, especially right now. If you're FHA, right, a lot of times FHA with the PMI, all of that, your payment is still lower because FHA rates are so much lower than conventional. Now, the downside to that is you can't write off the PMI, right? But I think at the end of the day, in a higher rate market, I'm seeing more people go over to the FHA side because their payment at the end of the day is lower than the conventional loan.
What do you think about that, Vince?
Well, I mean, I'll add to that from that 680 and under, that 680 to that 700 is still truly an FHA loan, but in the consumer's world, they want the conventional because that's what they feel is the right option. So I 100% agree with that. And I see the consumer leaning more towards FHA for the leniency of DTI purposes. Regardless of the payment, you have the ability to go to 55% of your expense factors with a 720 credit score versus 45. And that may make the deal of whether or not you're able to buy the house. The only thing is the stigma in today's limited inventory is that sellers don't want to hear FHA, VA, right? And that's kind of why we do this, so everyone can get an understanding of what these products are really at. So an FHA deal is basically the same as conventional. You hear the appraisal. The appraisal is an issue only if it's a health and safety issue. Yes, you have to have the paint can't be peeling. Yes, you have to have a railing. Again, it's health and safety. It's not a major difference, but that's basically it on that. I know we just ran a deal, and I was trying to make the consumer take the FHA deal because he was going to get a higher spread premium for closing costs or credits, but he wanted the conventional. So we just priced that out last week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I agree with that sentiment, and obviously it depends on the type of property too.
Sure.
I got a 673 credit score. Obviously, initially I was saying FHA 100%, but listing agents around. I don't know if this is just a Midwest thing, but the listing agent loves to call a condo a townhome.
Oh yeah.
So, that we are notorious with dealing with that, where no, it's not a townhome, and we find out that it's not FHA approved, and so in order for her to get this property, we had to go conventional. Unfortunately enough, with a 673, we got it approved at 10% down, and luckily she had the 10% down. But it's these situations that do come up all the time where, depending on the type of property, it may swing you one way or the other as well. We got another question came in from Lori. Lori writes, can DSCR work for short-term rentals? What's your stance on that, Stacy?
Yeah, they do. It's configured a little bit different in the DSCR, but we do a lot of DSCR, the short-term rentals. You're more limited in regards to the main thing is when you have an appraisal done, you have to have short-term rental comps. That's your big thing. And then the other thing that I'm seeing is there's an expense ratio factor in a short-term rental with a DSCR because some people use property management companies, cleaning, all of those things, right? But if you're doing Airbnb, Verbo, home away, most of the time that expense comes out in the calculation, so that goes away. But yeah, definitely. DSCR and short-term rentals is a big thing.
I'm curious to ask you this question because I don't even know this. How does one, as we're structuring the deal, decipher between short term and long term on a DSCR? Is there an advantage to going a short term or advantage going long term? Like if
Well, sometimes it depends on the area that you're in. So let's say we're in Florida, right? And you're right on the water line. Somebody's going to make a lot more money on the water line as a short-term rental than they are a long-term rental. They might not debt service as a long-term. But for instance, I just did one recently with a client, and the short-term, they were $14,000 a month. That was the average, and long-term was $5,500 a month. It's a huge difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
So when we order the appraisal, let's say we started off as long term, but as long as I get the configurations like the schedule of rent, can I flip it to a short term, or do I have to announce it up front?
You can, yeah, absolutely. You can flip it to a short term, and a lot of times people will not say that they're a short term rental, right? They won't tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when we're doing our checks and balances on our side, we see that it's listed on Airbnb or on Verbo, and we're
I've been there with you, I think.
Yes.
The checks and balances of our industry.
Checks and balances.
What we don't know, you find out. What you find out, we didn't know. This is a basic, simple answer.
I always say to the consumer and to the broker, it's always good to tell your broker everything up front. And your broker, like Dante, he's got a great relationship with his account executives that he can be in the interest with full disclosure with them too. So it's better to know more up front to see how can we fight for you? How can we get you to your ultimate goal, which is to close?
Yep.
Correct.
We're like the attorney of the mortgage industry. Give us all the details.
Yep. Yeah. And sometimes you're like, I don't know if I want to say this. No, tell me everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why, I've always enjoyed working with you because, we're trying to structure the deal to get the deal done. And it's a win-win. It's a win for the lender, first and foremost. They have to make sure they can insure that loan, close that deal, make their money, and stay in business. And for us, we want to make sure that we, help achieve the goal and promise that we set forth for the client. So, but we have to know everything. Sometimes when you're secret squirrel trying to hide certain information from us, 9 times out of 10, we're going to find out anyway. And I could have done something up front to prevent that or to make something happen. But yeah,
especially in the non-QM world, it's a giant exception, right? The loan is set up to be a giant exception. We just need to know what those exceptions are up in the very beginning.
Exactly. And not every deal and no deal that I know of right now is easy. Everyone is, is a complex situation. It doesn't matter your credit score. Everything's unique, whether you're on a time crunch on a purchase or just trying to configure how are we going to get this deal done, So, no, I do agree with that. We got another question, and please continue to send comments and questions in. We appreciate you. It makes it, we want to answer these questions for you. Our next
it makes it a lot easier. Go ahead, say that, Dante.
It does. It does make it easier. What's the minimum credit score for a VA loan?
No credit score, but we'll let Stacy verify. No FICO minimum.
Yeah, there is. Well, so we as a company, you can have no credit score, right? And it's a manual underwrite. And then you're kind of just set into different DTI restrictions. But we go down to 550 with an approved eligible.
Oh, okay. And you'll do a 500 manual?
No.
No. She's got a cap on it.
So I cap at 550.
Right. She's got a lender restriction. And I want to add to that. And I did that kind of out of excitement, obviously, because we did VA loans a couple of days ago. We did a little thing. If you have a VA client that has a credit score that's under 580 or is at 550, the main goal as a loan officer here is work with that VA client and try and raise that credit score. It doesn't take much to raise someone's credit score from 550 to 580 or 500 to 550 instead of trying to find that lender that's taking that one VA loan that no one else is doing. And then when it doesn't close, everyone has a bad experience. So just kind of my own take out there. Just because VA doesn't have a credit score requirement, lenders do have restrictions. So you're better off trying to figure out what can we do? Can we consolidate a debt here? Can we figure something out? Can you pull money out of your 401k? Can we pay down some credit card balances? What can we do? Because remember, at that credit score, something happened. And you're going to turn around and put them in a VA loan with no money down. And like I said, I love the VA product, but you're probably going to put them in a bad position somewhere down the line.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people forget when they're qualifying for loans, especially on VA and FHA, it's not your net income that you're qualifying on. It's your gross income that you're qualifying on. So especially with VA, because like I see, at our company, we'll go, if it's an approved eligible, we'll go up to 60% back end ratio.
Correct.
Right.
No,
it's huge. As far as VA goes, right now, you can't be late in the last 12 months to get cash out. Is that still stand correct?
Correct.
And then for rate and term, we most times we use EARL, the streamline capability if they have a higher interest rate to try to help them refinance. And then on the refinances, they're still required to have termite inspections, correct?
Not on an EARL,
okay,
but on a standard refinance, yes.
Okay, standard refinance. And then if a widow of a veteran wants to buy a house, she can use her widow's benefits.
Yeah, if they transferred over and you could get a certificate of eligibility, absolutely.
Doesn't the death of the veteran have to be service related? And I apologize, my phone should have been off. But isn't it the connection if they're trying to purchase and they didn't have an existing VA loan? Isn't there a service connection that needs to be related in order for that spouse to use the deceased eligibility?
You know what? I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer. I know I've seen it where the surviving spouse has been able to use the benefit and gotten the certificate of eligibility. I just never asked what happened to the non-surviving spouse.
Yeah, no, understand it. I just wanted to see because I know there's always confusion to that one.
Yeah, and I just want to I want to use this time to be an advocate for independent mortgage professionals. Stacy, obviously, I'm assuming that you predominantly work with independent mortgage brokers across the country. And just having the capability.
Brokers are better, people. Brokers are better. No, just kidding around.
Well, I mean, Matt Ishbia came out and said, we're about 30% of market share right now as far as mortgage brokers doing the deals, and he feels we're moving in a direction where we'll probably do 50% of the market share eventually, right, in the upcoming years. But what is your take just on working with independent mortgage brokers versus obviously our big box banks? Why do you think why did you take this position? Why do you feel so you're such an advocate for them?
So here's what I do believe that going to a broker is better than your bigger box banks. And here's why. I think it's all about experience, right? If I'm going to go get a big ticket item, I want somebody that I can call and pick up the phone with, and I can kind of talk through situations. When you're dealing with bigger banks, you're a number. You're not your first and last name on a file. You're specifically a number in their system. And if you just don't get that, you just don't get the service that you get with brokers. And I watch it all the time, and I apologize for the sirens in the background.
Well, hopefully someone's okay.
Yeah, hopefully someone's okay. And they're going at a pretty fast speed, so they'll be gone in a minute, but hopefully someone's all right.
Yes, yeah, hopefully they are okay. But like when I go into I'm in brokers' offices 3 to 4 days a week, right? And I love walking in and seeing brokers sit at a table with the consumer, going over income documentation, or on a Zoom call with the consumer, giving them that face-to-face service, answering all their questions. And I've bought and sold houses, and I've worked with a big bank, and I've worked with a broker. And my experience working with a broker has been 150 times better than somebody at the bank.
Appreciate you answering that question. Let's go to the next one. Which loans work best in the high interest rate market? Well, the rates aren't really high. I mean, that's the first thing I want to say.
Yeah, our rate prediction's right. We're coming lower. We're coming lower. Let's see if we get the 10-year under 4.20 in the next couple of weeks. But that's a tough one. I mean, obviously, we do conventional FHA. Rates are similar to each program. They're within range of each program. You're in a high interest rate market. That's just what we're in, right? And we're comparing it to what was, and now we're comparing to what's basically normalized. The rate's normal. Historically, rates are normal. The problem is pricing. So it's valuation more than it is interest rates. But to me, that's depending on the goal of the consumer as to which product to use, and that will determine the rate. So not actually answering it, because you could turn around and spin someone onto an ARM, but that might not be the right position, right? Because that'll obviously give them a lower interest rate. Not by much, but it'll give them a little lower interest rate.
One of the things I'd like to add to that just for a second, when, I'll go into offices and I'll talk to loan officers, and they'll say the rates are so high. And I'll say, no, the rates are the rates. It's all perspective, right? It's all perspective. If you communicate to your consumer that the rates are high, the consumer's going to think it's high too. But the rates are what they are at any given time. They're never high, they're never low. They just are what they are.
I use the numbers just on, from a factual perspective. Since 1975 to 2025, the average rate is 8%. Mm-hmm. The eye soreness that people have is obviously from 2010 to 2020, the average rate was 4%. So, I mean, the market as a whole was on sale for a decade, and people got used to and used and abused that, and got used to it to a point where now, oh my gosh, 7%, oh my gosh, 6.5% is so high. And we're really going back to normal, and they're still historically low interest rates. So always keep that in mind. All right, let's go to the next question. Do DSCR loans require income verification? Stacy, I'll let you answer that one.
No, they do not. We don't even want to see where you work. We don't want to know what you do. We don't want to know any of that.
Yeah, it's a great product that really has come on strong. I think it really came on. I mean, it had been out there, but everyone made it a traditional. It's a traditional product now that people are using on the investment side. No longer do we have to look at your tax returns. Oh my gosh, what you're writing off. I haven't filed taxes in 3 years, Dante, but I want to buy this investment property. It really has opened the door and the capability for people to be able to buy, as long as you have the credit and you have the assets to be able to put down. So we are not verifying income on a DSCR, and that's super cool. But that is on investment only. That product's for investment only.
Yeah, the great thing about that product, like you said, it's the end of the day. It's how much do you want to put down and what's your credit score, and that product will stay strong as long values don't decline. If we start to see a decline in values, the backing of those programs will not necessarily get pulled from the market, but the adjustments will be a lot different. They'll want even more money down. But in a strong valuation market, that product will continue to be here.
Cash reserves, they'll want, because I've seen as of late, is there a certain amount of cash reserve, Stacy, that 6 months is generally for those types of loans?
Depends on loan to value.
Oh, okay.
Depends on loan to value. Anything over 80% typically is going to require 6 months. Anything under 80% is going to require 3 months. and then rate and term versus cash out. It's just, there's a bunch of different factors there.
Got it. All right, let's go. Do you got to run, Stace?
Oh no, I'm just gonna plug in my computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want it to pop
I'm
out.
good. Yeah.
Hey, let's use this opportunity. Vince, just let people know how they can reach you.
Yep. My name again is Vince. My phone number is 708-359-8578. Again, that's 708-359-8578. And my Epic email is vince@epic.mortgage. That's vince@epic.mortgage. Thank you.
Yeah, corporate office is 708-905-5300, 708-905-5300. It's your dreams, your goals. Let's plan together. And if you are interested in properties, we do have some preferred listings. I just want to get these out there. 2436 Planters Mill Way, Conyers, Georgia. It's going for $399. It's a 4-bed, 2.5-bath. Contact Angela Pinnell, 404-425-4660. We also have 1100 South 3rd Avenue, Maywood, Illinois. This property is going for $405. It's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath house. Contact Tamika Bishop, 630-479-6352. We also have 5544 South California in Chicago. It's going for $394.9. It's a 5-bed, 3-bath house. Contact Victor Naranjo, 708-830-4734. And just listed today, 8228 South LaSalle in Chicago. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath property going for $250,000. Contact Amico Pope, 808-428-3770. All right, let's go to the next question. Can DSCR be combined with other financing options?
No.
Yeah, I don't know what other financing options he's thinking, but if we're not, and this is how I explain this one. Basically, when you're trying to buy a property, we break it down to 3. I use an acronym, CIA, and CIA stands for credit, income, and assets, and that's what's being evaluated on a purchase transaction. So on an investment property purchase, if we decide this is the best route for you because we have competitive rates, as well as we don't have to verify income, then the only things that we need to verify is your credit and obviously your assets. So there is no other financing options necessarily required. I think that's probably the best way to maybe answer that.
Yeah, the only thing I could throw into that'd be very rare. If you're a high net worth person, you may be able to get a bank to give you a line of credit behind the first mortgage on a DSCR. But doing both at the same time won't happen because more than likely the initial investor is not going to allow you to subordinate or have a second lien until at least it's closed. So that would be after an initial transaction, potentially.
Correct.
And that's a big stretch. It may take you a lot of work to find someone willing to do a second mortgage, HELOC, or something on a property you just purchased as an investment. So.
Correct.
Yeah, they, the only thing I can think of on this scenario, and I have seen this, and a lot of people are starting to think of ways, assets become a huge ordeal of like, okay, where do I get this money from? 20% of $300,000, that we're talking about $60,000. I don't have it per se. So what do I do? A lot of people have been using the line of credit. They've been using the line of credit on their current house. Obviously, we don't want to do anything on the first mortgage because you might have the 2% or the 3% interest rate. We understand you're just going to leave that alone, but we can get the line of credit out to pull out that money, and that can help you have that down payment necessary for that investment property. So I was curious on that, Stacy. Do you guys offer secondary like mortgages and stuff like that, HELOCs, HELOANs?
We do. We actually have a DSCR second, standalone second. We do not offer HELOC, but we do have the standalone seconds.
Now the standard seconds are they now DSCR? That would be obviously on an investment property.
Correct.
What about a primary?
Primary residence, yeah, it's a non-QM loan. There, you can either go bank statements, full doc, 3 months with the P&L. You could go asset utilization, any product that non-QM offers, income type, you could do the same thing on a second, except for P&L only.
Okay. So I actually have a scenario once we get off here. I have a client who basically has a first mortgage. She roughly owes about four. Let's say she owes about 330. Value of the property is about 450, and she was looking to get cash out of her primary residence in order to, basically go ahead. But she's a 1099 contractor, and the tax returns are not looking pleasant. So in that scenario, we could look at alternative income, to your point,
Correct.
like bank statements, and take it from there.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So we will be talking as soon as we get off on here, because I definitely have
Sounds
a deal
good.
for you on there.
Okay.
Now, what about USDA? Do you offer any? Oh, go ahead, Vince.
No. Do the USDA question, and then we'll circle back. I want to talk about potential taking cash out on a second in today's market with a conventional client. So go ahead, Stacy. Go ahead and answer any USDA question.
USDA, we do not do.
Okay, that was easy enough. Go ahead, Vince.
All right. So the only thing we talk about cash out and LPAs, we know it's expensive. There's rate adjustments and everything else. So in this market, it's been really easy to just turn around and take a second. But I just want the audience to know it's important to calculate that blended rate between those two.
Correct.
In the next 6 months, like we said, and again, I'm not an economist, rates are coming down. So the question here is going to be, if you took that cash out today and took the adjustments in today's market, in 6 months from now to a year when rates are lower, then you go back and refi. So you have absorbed that LPA adjustment, because you can take out cash today and you can refi 6 months later, but you have to wait the 6 months. So please make sure of that. And then you wind up getting a better rate instead of taking the cash out in 6 months from now. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Vince, why don't you answer that question though? Why would you? What would be the difference of waiting 6 months to do everything when the rates are lower? Why should I move now? Why don't you answer that?
Because if you go now, you're going to get an LPA adjustment with today's rates, and today's rates are higher than what the future rates are going to be. So again, it always goes to, I've always said this, if it's time to buy a house, it's time to buy a house. If it's time to refinance and pay off your debt, it's time to pay off your debt. There is no point of waiting. But if you take cash out today and you will wind up with a higher rate, you're getting today's market rate, so that when rates do drop, you can do the refinance as a rate and term instead of taking cash out, because banks and Fannie and Freddie, they penalize the consumer for taking cash from your home.
100%.
Additional risk.
Yep.
And LPA's loan level price adjustments.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
No, I like what Vince said. Like, if it's time to buy a house, it's time to buy a house. Period. So one of the things that you don't marry your interest rate, you marry your house. You can always refinance it later. So like, if you can afford it now and the opportunity presents itself, it will get better. But that house might not get better. That's the whole thing. So if it's time to buy, it's time to buy.
Marry the house, divorce the rate. Let's be honest.
There you go.
Divorce. I love it. There was a question right here. How do loan limits change by state or county? Let's touch that, because she's in California, so let's just kind of make it easy. She'll know what loan limits in California. You want to touch on those?
So it's high cost areas, right? It's income driven. Like, what areas are considered high cost? Where is there more earning potential, right? So that's kind of how the loan limits change based off of Fannie, Freddie, and Ginnie, right? Across the board. What are higher default rates? The higher the default rate, the lower the loan limit is.
But let me kind of jump into that. There's great tools out there for that, because obviously loan limits vary by state and county. Mm-hmm. So it's important to know those, because it's a tool you can use for marketing. One of the things we talked about is the increase in values in property. But if you really look at it, 4 years ago, conventional loans was about $400,000. Today, the average conventional loan can be up to $800,000. basically like 804 or 805 is the actual limit for conventionals. Don't know the website offhand, but just Google search, conventional loan limits, FHA loan limits. There is a chart that's on Fannie's website somewhere. There'll be a web address. You can put your zip code in there, and it'll give you the MSA area for what the limits are for FHA for 2-unit, 3-unit, and 4-unit. So they are geographically they do vary. As an example, here in Chicago, I think an FHA single family can go up to $465,000. I may be wrong, but a conventional 20% down or 5% down could be $800,000 in today's market.
I'll fact check that right there.
Ask AI. I know I got my amounts wrong a little bit on the FHA, but like I got friends in Florida. FHA loan limits are lower than they are here in Illinois.
Right.
Yeah, it's a county to county. They change it every year, and sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down.
It's county to county for FHA, but conventional standard for single family across the states, depending if you're in a high cost or low cost area. So Hawaii's different and Alaska's different.
Yeah, in the Chicagoland area, actually FHA single family is 524, 225 nowadays. 2 units are 671, 200, and 3 units are 811, 275, and a 4-unit can touch $1 million. So definitely.
Hey, I apologize. Can you guys hear the lawnmower going by?
A little bit. I can hear the vibration.
I'm gonna mute myself until they're done for a minute, but I'm still here.
Yeah, so it is and obviously the old man on the stool. I remember when conventional was like 417, and now to see it basically double. Do you have any insight on that? I'm just always curious. Why does that increase? I mean, what is it based on evaluation, or what's the reason for that?
Demand.
Just demand.
What housing prices are going for if you don't kind of like evolve with how the market's going, they're not gonna. People struggle to bring in 5% sometimes.
Sure.
You look at the ratio of people that bring in 20% to 5%, you're going to see the 5%, the 3.5% is a lot higher.
Yeah. No, good point. I just it's just pretty remarkable just to see things continually go up from when we started to where they are now, and just it was like wow, it gives us more opportunity because I feel like we're very competitive. I think I've always given credit to big box banks in the jumbo space. That's where they've dominated, but as they have allowed more and more of the conventional product to be available, that has helped us tremendously just be more opportunity to expand what we can or cannot do. So let's continue. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I know I muted myself, and I heard the 417. And then I also heard the 800,000 conventional and the 565 for FHA. So just kind of think about that. 4 years ago, the max loan was 400,000 conventional. You can now go up to 800,000. So this just goes to give you an idea of how much values have increased.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to touch on that line of credit, Vince?
Line of credit on what?
I thought you had that client. You were given a scenario.
No scenario.
Go back to it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're doing. We talked about VA. We talked about FHA. Are you offering down payment assistance on FHA, Stacy?
We are. We actually have a really good product that doesn't have, like, if you're CalHFA, you're limited to debt to income ratio, income restrictions. You can't have a non-occupant co-borrower, all of these things. We have a product called the Fast 100, and there's no debt to income ratio limits. If DU takes it, it's fine. Mm-hmm. There's no income limits, and you can have a non-occupant co-borrower. There's 3 variations of a product because a lot of people like the second to be silent and forgiven, right? after a certain amount of time. And we definitely have that one. That's our first variation. And if there's no missed payments in 10 years on that first, then that second is forgiven. The second variation of that product is the first 96.5 and a 3.5% second, which is going to be 2% higher than your first note rate. And then it's amortized over 10 years. And that's how the payment is. And then you have a third variation of that product is the 96.5 first, and your second is 5%, 3.5 towards the down payment, and then 1.5 towards closing costs. That's also amortized over 10 years, and it qualifies at 2% higher than your first note rate.
Nice. And then you have to hold on to that loan for what, 5 years?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just paid off. Like if you refinance or sell, because it's a 10-year loan. So if you hold on to it, it's paid off in 10 years.
Got it.
Because there is a payment on those last two variations of that product.
Got it. Yeah, I actually went ahead and did a loan like that a couple years ago, and I talked to the client back in 22, and it's just the power of appreciation. We've seen solid appreciation across the country, obviously.
Yeah.
And so now she has enough equity where we can pay off both without it, and it looks like we're going to save her about $200 a month.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a win.
That's a big time win. So down payment assistance, covering your down payment, and then wait a couple years, and now you're able to pay it off and consolidate it to one payment, and you're saving some money. So I mean,
and you got equity.
Oh,
that's the ticket right there. Then you have equity.
Yeah. So no, super cool. Yeah, we're trying to help people get into homes however we can, and I think the down payment assistance, I pray that that's going to be around for some time because it's really helping people. It's really been a solid product. And then, what other bells and whistles you guys got going on at Forward? What else are you guys really doing?
One more time, Dante.
What other products are you doing right now at Forward?
So we love non-QM at Forward Lending.
Okay.
Right. And I think one of the most underutilized product that we have is your asset utilization product. So a lot of investors, they might not, they might write off a lot of their income, so they can't show a lot, but they have money in the bank. They've saved for a rainy day. They've got mutual funds. They've got stocks. They've got bonds. They've got all of that stuff. With the asset utilization product, it's based off of that type of stuff. So you would take whatever they have in the bank, right? Mm-hmm. We'd use 10% of that.
Okay.
And then divide it by 60 months. And that would be your income.
All right. So if I have $500,000 in the bank, I times it by 10. So that means I got 450 divided by 60.
Uh-huh.
And then that would be my income.
That's your monthly income.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that income just has to last 5 years.
Okay. And that's where the 60 months comes from.
Yeah, that's where the 60 months comes from.
So in a scenario like that, what type of down payments can I get with let's say a 730, 740 credit score?
25% is minimum down payment on those.
Okay, so asset depletion, 25%. I actually have a client like that. And these are situations like sometimes, people don't even think about, but, people that get laid off, let's say at a job, right? The severance package. And they get this severance package and, big time job making, $250,000. This might be an opportunity that they still want to buy a house. Obviously, they got sent some bad news, but since they have the money saved, they can still use this as an opportunity.
Yeah. And one of the things I want to just say, one of the things is you said asset depletion, right? But it's not really asset depletion. So in the conventional world, asset depletion, you would have to be a certain age, right?
Right.
Otherwise, they won't do it. They consider it asset depletion, right? In the non-QM world, we're asset utilization, and it's not age specific.
I got it.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, this goes for musicians, maybe in their 20s, whomever.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you have these big, like, people went out and made some serious money in cryptocurrency.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
As long as that money is transferred into an account, you can utilize your assets to build a portfolio for yourself.
Is there a seasoning requirement on the assets?
No, because it was already in your crypto wallet. So
Okay.
you need to just be able to see the transfer.
Got it.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
in regards to like a standard mutual funds, I just need to see like a quarterly statement.
Yeah, I had a client probably either end of last year or the beginning of this year. And it was kind of the first time I don't really bump into a lot of crypto users per se, but he had a wallet and we had to wait for the wallet to be, he had to transfer the money to his account. We had to wait to see, because, just because it shows 32,000 over here, it may not be 32 once it, he has to sell off, certain shares per se. But it was quite fascinating just to kind of see how that works.
Okay.
Are you dealing with a lot of are you nationwide, Stacy? Are you dealing with a lot of states or all 50?
We do business in all states except for New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what is your take on just the overall, what are you seeing in the overall market with your, brokers that you work with?
As in what?
Just like, what's the market like right now? Is it hot right now? Is it, obviously still summertime, or is it slowing down? What do you see?
I see it picking up a lot. And I see a lot of people slowing down. It really, honestly, it depends on the broker shop's drive and the people that work for them. Recently I was just interviewed and, they asked me, you did this by the end of in a calendar year. How did you do that? And I said, well, I work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they said, well, everybody on the list works. Right. But really, do you work? You can go to work, but do you work? And so what I notice is people like yourself, you have business because you work. And then people that have, if I go into offices and, everybody's just chit chatting, yucking it up, they're at work, but they're not working.
The water cooler conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we see it in our own office.
Sure.
Why aren't I successful? You need to work to be successful.
You're not even in the office. You're about to meet other brokers and shaking hands and kissing babies.
I'm working. Awesome. That's the ticket. I'm working. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. No, it's it is important. I mean, obviously we do have realtors that are listening to us. We also have loan officers that are with us, listening on. And so, we encourage everyone. Yeah, we have to work. We have to network. We have to meet new people. We have to answer questions. We have to communicate. I always call it, what do I call it? Money making activities. We have to do money making activities. So we got to stick with MMA.
Come on, put that acronym out there, man. I want to apologize to the audience. So this is live, so we have to deal with what happens. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell my guys not to cut the grass. But I apologize.
No, you're all good. I mean, things happen and come up and stuff like that. But yeah, no, this has been it's been good. I mean, just we wanted to share with our clients. We wanted to share with others of just products that we offer. Obviously, down payment assistance on FHA is a huge product. We're looking at conventional, whether you're putting 3% down, 5% down, and then obviously just this non-QM space, this non-qualified mortgage space with the DSCR. With the no verification of income, has really been a huge opportunity for investors to be able to jump in. And then we have been using that line of credit, so people can take the money out of their house. Because to Vince's point, but I would just say another thing too, what the value is today, but we don't know what the value will be 6 months from now. Mm-hmm. We don't know if there's a softening or a correction that's going to be made that could jeopardize the equity that you have today. It just doesn't sit. It fluctuates up and down, based on the market. So if you know that you have equity today, take it out now, and then that way you can apply it and use it.
Absolutely.
We got some shout outs here. Just wanted to wrap this up. We got a Ventures show. Great show. Loving this live session. Appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And then we got James show. Fantastic breakdown team. Hey, really thank you. Appreciate that. We're trying to, give some information, pass it along. And, we can start wrapping up right now. Vince, can you give that contact information?
Yeah, again, you can reach me at my Epic email is vince@epic.mortgage, or feel free to reach out to me at 708-359-8578. Again, I apologize for today, guys, but appreciate for everyone listening.
And I highly encourage loan officers, if you're listening, definitely give Stacy Brian a call. She can help you like she's helped me. Stacy, can you give your contact info?
Yeah, my email address is S as in Sam Brian, BRIAN, at forwardlendingmtg.com. And my direct phone number is 949-973-8993. And thanks for having me on here, Dante. This is great. This is a great service to people.
No, I appreciate that. And we'd love to have you back on. We do this Monday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. So it's a lunch and learn for us, but it's a breakfast for you. 10 to 11 in the Pacific time range.
There you go.
And, just for everyone, if you need to reach out to me, hopefully you do. Dante@epic.mortgage is my email. I'm in the corporate office at 708-905-5300. 708-905-5300. And let me just read off these preferred listings one last time. These are properties that are on the market that if you have an interest, we can definitely get you pre-approved for them. We have 2436 Planters Mill Way in Conyers, Georgia. It's going for $399. It's a 4-bed, 2.5 bath. Contact Angela Pinnell, 404-425-4660. We also have 1100 South 3rd Avenue, Maywood, Illinois, going for $405. It's a 5-bed, 2-bath house. Contact Tamika Bishop, 630-479-6352. We also have 5544 South California in Chicago. It's going for $394.9. It's a 5-bed, 3-bath house. Contact Victor Naranjo at 708-830-4734. And then contact, I said that. And then 8228 South LaSalle in Chicago. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath. Contact Amico Pope, 808-428-3770. We will be back tomorrow, Thursday, with Vince. You're going to be with me, and Yolanda Peavy's back.
All right, Yolanda's going to come back. I'll make sure my audio works out tomorrow, man. I apologize again.
Oh, no
Stacy,
worries,
thanks for doing the show with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It was great to meet you, Vince. Hopefully we'll be talking to each other.
I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for everyone that was watching us, and make it epic. So back to work we go.
Talk to you later, Dante. Bye, Stacy.
See you guys later. Have a good one.
Goodbye,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye-bye.